Good.
Okay, good afternoon. I'm Carlos. This is Omar and Danny. We are Sub Automic. On behalf of Danny, Omar, and myself, we'd like to thank you for coming today. During this presentation, we're going to bring forth the idea brought to us by our investor, and we're going to go through all the steps that we have taken to meet his expectations and also expectations of the market. The idea is simple. We need a machine that's going to be cost-effective, it's going to be practical. This machine should wrap subs at the end of a food line, and we're also going to make sure that it meets all health and safety regulations for our country and for other countries to make it globally marketable. But Danny will further expand on this idea on the next slide.
Okay, as Carlos was saying, our paramount goal is safety. And in order to accomplish this, we are going to try and implement some type of conveyor system, maybe automated to a certain extent. Okay, secondly, it has to be efficient. So to accomplish this, we seek to incorporate two steps into one, mainly how to fold the sub as it is being packaged. Okay. Thirdly, we need to be practical and cost effective. For practicality, we are going to implement a modular design so that in the future, should we need to add on to it or other ideas to improve on this, we'll be able to do so. As far as the cost effectiveness, we're not going to eliminate the step altogether because it is a necessary but tedious task, but we are going to change it to improve it so that the employees of these various businesses do not have to spend the time on doing this task. Okay?
Now, to accomplish this, we first have to initiate a research phase. To do the research phase, what we're going to do is build and design our machine to the ISO standard. ISO standing for International Organization for Standardization. Upon that, we're actually going to use the 22,000 code, which specifically caters to food and beverage, as well as the 2000 code, which is a quality management of said food and beverage. The reason we are doing this is because if ISO certification is achieved, it is easier to actually certify through OSHA and FDA. That is not saying that ISO certification is a replacement for the OSHA and FDA certification, but since a lot of the guidelines are equivalent, we're able to achieve ISO certification through FDA and OSHA. Now for the global aspect that Carlos was speaking.
As Omar said, the ISO guidelines will give us standardization in other countries as well. And we understand that the market is not limited to the country anymore, but it's a global market that we take into consideration. So that's going to help us make our product more marketable globally. But also we have to take into account that they speak different languages and they have different cultures, for which we could do things like having warning signs in different languages. We can also have just warning signs in different languages and stuff like that to keep it available for everybody around the world, and also to keep them safe. Another factor that we have to take into account nowadays is the environmental factor. We are looking into parts that are corrosive resistant to our sustainability rated product, and since we're going to be wrapping the product in plastic or paper, we have to look at biodegradable and recyclable materials or both. And now he's going to further expand on the design aspects of our project.
For the design phase, we chose to do a redundant system. This incorporates first pan lookup, see if any other invention is closer, near to our design. The second thing would be to actually do a budget analysis. Since we are a sponsor group, we do have a limited budget, but this allows us to refine multiple iterations within our design. This, what we want to do is yield a final product with a high life and a low cost for our end products, which will be more desirable for the corporate. Now,
This represents the conceptual design of the preliminary idea of all of what we just mentioned into one. So the system basically, this could be incorporated as a conveyor system or...
Do we have a pointer?
It's in the
Fasten.
Okay, so this
say.
So the conveyor part, that was our initial idea that we are trying to improve on it so that we're taking out the human aspect as much as possible. The sides on the ribs, those could be modified. It could either be plastic walls to kind of funnel the sandwich into the plastic bag at the end. That would be modified in a way. We also are choosing to implement vacuum sealed bags to add value to the end product. And that's represented at the end.
At this moment, we will take any questions available.
Okay.
Is it good on time?
No, 30 seconds left.
We have 15 seconds with the whole laser fiasco.
You can address it from here.
Yeah, that'll be,
Pointer.
yeah.
Okay,
Any questions?
do you have any questions?
Yes.
Yeah.
Just out of curiosity, is it the first design or do you have any?
In industrial, no. If industrial sample is actually industrial, we do have certain types of wrapping machines, but never on this small of a scale.
Okay.
Any other questions?
Is your sponsor will be here for the presentation?
We're trying to get in contact with them. Any other questions?
I don't think he will be here in December. I've already spoken to him. I think he'll be traveling. Unless Ben heard something differently.
No, I don't think he'll be here.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
But he'll be here.
But he has asked that we update him on what we're doing, and we're doing that right now.
I would just say, you might want to go into your design a little bit earlier. I know you guys, it's at the very end, so it might be worth just talking a little bit or having some sort of figure describing what you're doing at the very beginning. Because when you hear subfolding, what does that mean, right? A lot of times. So at the very beginning, it doesn't have to be the figure that you show at the end that you're discussing, but just some sort of idea of, hey, this is the idea that we have, this is what we're trying to implement. You guys did okay with words, but I think it's worth just
We
putting a
make
figure up there.
some pictures and designs, right?
Yeah, right. So every slide looks the same with if it's just words, so just.
As a matter of fact, I'd add to what Ben is saying, and I believe we had the discussion in the initial meeting where a flow process chart showing what the current
Yeah.
flow process is and showing what your flow process will be and demonstrate some improvement between the two processes.
Okay. Yeah.
We'll speak bundles to that. You see what I'm saying? So I think that will be a pretty good inclusion. The other thing is, let me see your schedule.
We actually do not have this on.
Okay, that's why I asked.
We have one, but we didn't put it, but we will next time.
Yes, you need to have that in there because the IAB will be looking at scheduling and looking at the feasibility of the scheduling as well as costing.
Yeah, I mean, do you guys have to have, sorry, I forget all the specifications, but you should probably have some sort of preliminary budget, just thinking about how you're spending the money. Again, no one's gonna hold you directly to that, but at least you should think it out.
You'll speak to it.
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay.
Thank you.
How do you guys feel about the product? I mean, do you think it's gonna do the job without the benefit of us seeing the flow process and all of that, which has the objective to increase?
Personally, I believe we'll be able to achieve the goals that were set out and more.
Okay.
Originally, the goal was to wrap it. We are looking into vacuuming out. We're using heat sealing, and we're just trying to expand on it. That's how confident we felt that we could do the first idea. So we're further expanding, trying to wrap more.
Well, what if someone was to go into the sub store, buy their sub, and the process that you've demonstrated would be an improved process, but then they decide that they want to have their sub heated? And then what do you do? Is this thing going to go into
Well,
the
we're
oven?
using,
or-
we use materials that are able to actually take the heat into account. For instance, the material we're using is actually able to withstand up to 300 degrees Fahrenheit, and it's food safe and food grade. On top of that, the vacuuming system will be able to actually take that temperature as well. So we'll
So
take
your device with the sub in it can go into their oven?
No. After it's been heated, it would be placed on the conveyor belt and be able to withstand the temperatures of the sub that comes out.
But as it is today, you heat it first and then you wrap it. So
Okay.
so we're doing the same thing. It's being done first, we're wrapping it after.
No, what you're explaining here, that's why the flow process would be very important for you, to show what they're doing now and what you propose to do.
Yeah.
So the more you answer the questions, I'm seeing that as being very necessary. You agree with that, Ben?
Sure. Yeah.
Is it going to be, your primarily going to be solely design, or you're going to be actually doing some experimental tests?
We have actually already started ordering parts that we're going to investigate. We have ordered some vacuum sealers, which we are going to take apart and test to see how it is we can incorporate this into an automated system. But yes,
Well, the
we
question
are-
is not, are you making the system? The question was, are you doing any experimentation to try to design that system?
Well,
and
one of the
improve-
stipulations
yeah.
that were provided to us was to use as products already existent as much as possible. In other
Sure.
words, things that are actually still
Again,
existing, because
I-
to
yeah.
innovate will cost more money than to actually.
So the question, again, I understand where you guys are going, but the question is, will you be doing any testing of your device? And of course, the answer is yes, right? You want to test that. So, but that was, anyway, you guys were, yeah.
Yes, we will.
Yeah.
All right, that's it.
Do we have another questions? No? Then, thank you very much.